A woman, 2,500 years old, emerges from Siberian permafrost, her skin and tattoos almost untouched by time. In the depths of a Ural bog, a wooden idol older than civilization itself waits in perfect silence. Bodies and gold, faces and symbols. Each discovery in this story is real, preserved where nothing should survive, and each has forced science to rewrite what is possible. But the last case compels a deeper question. Why did someone go to such lengths? And what secrets are still locked in the earth? The first discovery begins with a frozen tomb. The first discovery was made high on the Ukok Plateau, where the Siberian permafrost acts as a natural deep freeze. In 1993, archaeologist Natalia Polosmak and her team uncovered a wooden burial chamber sealed beneath layers of ice and stone. Inside, they found the body of a young woman, her skin, hair, and even her tattoos preserved for nearly 2,500 years. Researchers agreed that the cold, oxygen-starved conditions of the permafrost halted decay almost completely, allowing organic material to survive in a state rarely seen outside of controlled laboratories. Dendrochronology of the larch coffin and radiocarbon dating of horse remains placed the burial in the 5th century BCE, linking her to the Pazyryk culture, a nomadic Scythian group known for their elaborate tombs and skilled horsemanship. The grave goods left no doubt about her elite status: silk garments, a tall headdress with gold-plated ornaments, and the remains of 6 sacrificed horses. But it was the tattoos that drew the most attention, mythical creatures inked in dark pigment across her shoulder and arm, their outlines still sharp after 2 millennia. Scholars widely accept the authenticity of the mummy and her cultural ties, but debate continues over the meaning of the tattoos. Some interpret them as clan symbols or marks of shamanic power, while others see them as decorative art. The cause of death remains unresolved. Recent CT scans suggest breast cancer and a fall, but earlier theories pointed to ritual or poison. Ethical questions also linger. The excavation sparked protests among local Altai people who consider the site sacred. After years of controversy, the mummy was reburied in a mausoleum in Gorno-Altaysk in 2012, following demands for her return. The Ice Maiden remains a rare case where both the body and its story have survived the extremes of time and climate, but not without raising questions that science alone cannot settle. The second discovery surfaced not in ice, but deep within the acidic waters of a Siberian peat bog. In January 1890, workers cutting peat in the Ural Mountains unearthed a massive larch log, carved with faces and geometric patterns. This is the Shigir idol, now recognized as the world's oldest known wooden monument, with an age exceeding 12,000 years. Researchers agree that the bog's unique chemistry, low in oxygen and rich in tannins, preserved the larch wood far beyond what is typical for organic material. For decades, the true age of the idol was uncertain. Early radiocarbon dates suggested it was about 9,500 years old. Already remarkable, but not without controversy. To address doubts, scientists turned to advanced accelerated mass spectrometry, sampling the inner tree rings and calibrating the results with new techniques. The outcome stunned even the most cautious experts. The Shigir idol dates to the very beginning of the Holocene, more than twice as old as the pyramids of Egypt. Standing over 5 meters tall in its original form, the idol is covered with zigzags, chevrons, and 7 distinct human-like faces, each stacked one above the other. Scholars broadly agree that these motifs reflect symbolic or ritual meanings, but what they represent remains hotly debated. Some see a cosmological map, others a totemic record of myths, and a few propose a communal marker for a vanished society of hunter-gatherers. Toolmark analysis reveals the use of stone burins and beaver jaw implements, evidence of sophisticated craftsmanship at a time when most of Eurasia had only just left the Ice Age behind. The Shigir idol's survival is a direct result of the bog's chemistry, not deliberate preservation. Yet its discovery forces a new understanding of early art and belief, complex, enigmatic, and far older than once thought. The third discovery surfaced in the spring of 1950, when 2 brothers cutting peat near Silkeborg, Denmark, uncovered a face so lifelike it seemed to be sleeping. Known as Tollund Man, This Iron Age body is preserved with a level of detail rarely seen outside a modern morgue. His eyelids, stubble, and even the faint lines of his lips survived more than 2,000 years in the peat. Researchers agree that the bog's unique chemistry, acidic, cool, and almost entirely without oxygen, halted decay, preserving not just skin, but internal organs, hair, and the contents of his last meal. Radiocarbon analysis places Tollund Man's death around 400 BCE, making him roughly contemporary with the earliest Celtic societies in Northern Europe. Forensic examination reveals a rope still tightly knotted around his neck and a fractured hyoid bone, clear evidence of hanging. CT scans and autopsy reports confirm that the trauma was inflicted while he was alive, but left no marks of a struggle. His stomach contained only porridge made from barley, flax, and wild seeds, likely eaten hours before his death. There is broad consensus on the authenticity of the find and the cause of death. Tollund Man was hanged, not drowned or poisoned, yet the circumstances remain debated. Some archaeologists point to the careful arrangement of his body and the absence of defensive wounds as signs of ritual sacrifice, possibly to appease Iron Age gods. Others argue for execution, a rare but documented penalty in ancient Germanic law. The question of why he died, ritual or punishment, remains open, a reminder that even the most complete forensic record cannot always reveal motive. The peat preserved his features and secrets alike, leaving a face from the past that still looks back with unanswered questions. If you are fascinated by discoveries that rewrite what we know about the ancient world, now is the time to subscribe to Unfold the Truth. Every week, we bring you new documentary videos, real finds, real science, and the stories behind the evidence. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss a single episode. New documentary videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 8 p.m. There is always more to uncover, and you will be the first to know. Let's get back to the next discovery. Deliberate concealment of valuables has a distinct logic shaped by both fear and hope. In contrast to bodies and artifacts preserved by accident, locked in ice, peat, or bog, hoards are hidden by human hands, often with the expectation of return. Throughout history, people have buried gold, silver, and weapons to protect them from theft, invasion, or sudden upheaval. In Anglo-Saxon England, these acts were not just about personal safety. They reflected a world where law and power could shift overnight, and where treasure might serve as ransom, tribute, or a safeguard against defeat. Modern Britain regulates such discoveries under the Treasure Act 1996. This law requires anyone who finds gold or silver objects over 300 years old to report them within 14 days. Once declared treasure by a coroner, these finds belong to the Crown, with museums given the first chance to acquire them. The finder and landowner are then rewarded based on market value. The act aims to balance public heritage with private rights, and it also underscores how the motives for burying treasure, including fear, ambition, ritual, and loss, are inseparable from the question of why so much gold was left in the ground, waiting to be found centuries later. Choice marks the beginning of a Hoard story. Someone decided to hide it, and for reasons we may never fully know, never came back. The final discovery began in a quiet field near Hammerwich, Staffordshire, in July 2009. Terry Herbert, a local metal detectorist, swept his coil across the soil and heard a signal unlike any he had found before. Digging carefully, he uncovered fragments of gold and garnet, and soon realized this was no ordinary find. Archaeologists arrived within days. By the end of the excavation, more than 3,500 pieces of gold and silver lay catalogued. Sword pommels, helmet fragments, and fittings, all unmistakably Anglo-Saxon. Metallurgical analysis confirmed the craftsmanship, and alloy recipes matched the 7th to 9th centuries, a period when the Kingdom of Mercia dominated central England. X-ray fluorescence and microscopic studies revealed techniques as advanced as those at Sutton Hoo, but on a much larger scale. Researchers agree on the authenticity and age of the hoard. The gold's purity, the style of the garnet cloisonne, and the martial focus of the inventory all point to elite warriors and royal workshops. Yet the motive for burial remains unresolved. No bodies, buildings, or battle debris were found nearby. The hoard was scattered, as if hurriedly concealed and never reclaimed. Some suggest it was war loot, hidden in a time of crisis. Others propose ritual offering or ransom. The absence of personal items or jewelry deepens the mystery. Museum curators and historians continue to debate, but the question of why such immense wealth was hidden and why it was never recovered remains unanswered. The Staffordshire hoard stands as both proof of its era's power and a silent challenge to explain what drove its concealment. All 4 discoveries are real, preserved against all odds, and documented beyond doubt. Yet each leaves vital questions open. What truths about ancient mines still lie hidden in what we cannot explain? Subscribe for more investigations. New documentary videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 8 p.m.